Hello everybody, Accureye here, and welcome back to another Accureye Talks video. And in today's Talks video, this may be a little bit of a redux of what I've done before, but I thought it'd be important to kind of go into detail and explain a little bit more what I do to go in for prepping into a mission. Because as it is, a lot of people, it seems like to me, don't exactly know what their game plan is, and many times you have people who are acting like heroes, trying to think that if they're the hero of the game, then they'll save everyone. If they are, but I mean, it all comes down to situational based things. You can't always expect to be a hero just to flat out have a claim to victory in some certain points. There are times where, I've seen it to where people are expecting you to save them, and you may not save them immediately because of one reason or another. Most of the time, this immediately not saving them comes down to the fact that there's danger close. And if there's danger close, of course, obviously, if there's danger close, you're not going to just immediately go in to try and save somebody. I mean, let's face it, that's just completely dumb. In many ways, that's just completely dumb, and anyone who's expecting to be saved because there's danger close, then, what's the point? I mean, seriously, honestly, you'll see many people who kind of go into a game thinking that, oh, I'm gonna save this person and now I'm gonna look like a big hero because I've saved them and I was able to revive them when there's still danger close. And, if there's danger close, the best option you can do is try to sell the danger, hope that your teammate doesn't bleed out for one reason or another, and then, of course, end up, helping them or saving them once you have a better advantage to actually save people. Because, again, it comes down to the factor of, if there's danger close and people are in a point of, in your view, where you might not be able to save them, it's better to just let them bleed out for a while and hope that, by them bleeding out, you can take care of the danger before, of course, you come in to revive them. I mean, so many people are probably expecting you to come in and revive people, yet you can't revive everyone. And at the end of the day, let's face it, that's true. You can't revive everybody at the same time, or you can't just revive everyone once they are in danger. Like, if they're in danger, you have to expect, okay, let's see if there's danger close. If I can assess that there's danger close, then I shouldn't revive these people. I should let them stew for a little bit, let them take some of the damage, and hope that I can in turn hope that these people are going to not see me coming in with the old surprise bomb, if you will. And I would just say, call it the surprise bomb in a way, and that's exactly it. You want to make sure that these people don't exactly see you coming. Like, if they see you coming, then, and your teammate and you're basically caught reviving somebody, then, your effort was wasted for nothing in many ways. So, of course, in general fact, it is just what it is, and that's the thought, is like, you've got to come up with general fact and thought of, what is the plan? What's the idea? What am I doing to help this person be safe when it comes down to reviving them? And same goes with, like, when you're dropping. When you're dropping, have a game plan. Know what weapon you are looking for the moment you start dropping. Because if you're, like, at the moment of, okay, I'm just going to pick up whatever weapons I can find as soon as I drop in, then, so be it. That's what I'm going to do. But always have a game plan of, like, 2 preferable weapons that you would like when it comes down to, dropping in. And then also have a third and secondary weapon that's pretty common to find as you're dropping in case you can't find the 2 preferred weapons you want. For instance, in my opinion, I always look for something like a Peacekeeper and of course a Spitfire if I can. If I find a Peacekeeper and a Spitfire, I'm good. But my third and fourth choices, if I can't find those, because let's face it, you're not always going to find a Spitfire laying around wherever you drop. You're not always going to find a Peacekeeper wherever you drop. So my third and fourth weapons, when it comes to dropping in and looking for things, is of course I'm looking for a EVA 8 and something as simple as, like, for instance, a flatline or a hemlock. Again, flatlines or hemlocks are pretty good, decent weapons if you give them a chance. But again, those are my third and fourth weapons when I'm dropping in. If I cannot find any of those weapons, and this is the big if I can't find any of those weapons, I will sell for an alternator and a Mozambique, an alternator and a longbow. Because those are decent enough weapons to the point where you can at least survive early game and maybe your first few run fights if you find fights early, with them. I mean, many people don't realize that the alternator, even though it kind of gets looked over, even though it's kind of like, I'm not going to ever use it, it's a decent enough weapon. Again, I mean, if it comes down to a weapon that you can find in another scenario, like a 301, an R99, or even for instance, the, a wingman or a prowler. I mean, many people pass by the prowler. Many people pass by the wingman thinking that it's not that great of a weapon, or I'm never going to use it because, like, I'm not good with single fire weapons. But the wingman is such an underestimated weapon when it comes down to fighting in it. And of course, if you see, like, for instance, like, the alternator, the wingman, the longbow, or something like that, you may want to consider picking it up. Now, at worst, and this is at worst, let's just, like, worst case scenario, I can't find anything. I'm literally just on the edge of my feet. I'm basically just on the edge of my feet. If it comes down to that, then you might want to consider something like, for instance, the R45, the Mozambique. I mean, again, the Mozambique and the R45 are probably some of the worst weapons when it comes down to just, in general, figuring out what weapons I should use. But, I mean, in general, let's face it, the Mozambique and the R99, or the R45 and the Mozambique, are pretty decent weapons when it comes down to just in general fighting. And when it comes to just in general early game fighting, you might as well use them just so that you can survive. I mean, many people will pass them by thinking just because they're like the worst weapon in the game, they're literally not worthwhile. They're literally just like absolutely terrible weapons. Then, it's kind of like, yeah, they are terrible weapons. But in a pinch situation, it's like you might as well use the RE45, for instance, or the Mozambique, just because, they're going to do decent damage. They're going to allow you to maybe survive the early game, and and also maybe be able to take on some extra action. But of course, there's the risk that maybe you're going to get wiped, and that's always a risk whenever you play, whenever you play a game, realize that it's always a risk if you are, for instance, are thinking like, oh, I'm going to find some of the best weapons in the game, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be cool, nobody's going to be able to defeat me, and I'm going to be able to, win all the time. And that isn't always the case. Sometimes it's just a matter of, like, for instance, you're just not going to find a weapon you want. I mean, let's face it, it does happen. I've had many games where I'm just kind of like, okay, well, my squad just got wiped because I couldn't find a weapon I wanted, or just because I passed up weapons that could have pretty much helped save the game, save the overall general game overall, Mm-hmm. And it's those things like, the RE45, for instance, the I think it's the RE45. It's things like the Mozambique that, people pass it up so much because of the fact that to them, it's not a good weapon. It's something to them that's like, well, why should I use it? It's not going to be any good or anything. It's not like it's something that I can respectively utilize. So, I mean, what's the point of having this weapon being used, in my personal opinion? And that's true. Sometimes just like the general opinion is that it's not worthwhile, maybe. And I understand that. I get that. Some people may kind of think that these certain weapons that many of us may or may not use are not worth the respective use of what everyone else is using. But, again, it can help you in general just to use weapons that most people may kind of think of as like a junk weapon. I mean, let's face it, we call these junk weapons. And, just like remember that, and same goes with like bombs and stuff. Many of you are probably thinking like, Accureye, I never use bombs. Why should I use a bomb or something like that? Well, I mean, the general opinion of the bombs and stuff is it's supposed to help you. It should, in general, help you with being able to prospectively, win or turn the tide of battle. I mean, most people don't realize that grenades are a turning point in the tide of battle. And, and that's something that, to me, is overlooked a lot, is that, that grenades are just not, are not going to be used at all. They're not going to be useful. And, I mean, put it in your perspective that even for me, I used to pass up, for instance, a lot of thermal grenades. Because, let's face it, thermal grenades pretty much are terrible. They're not very good. They're not going to be a weapon that you're going to think of. They're not going to be something that you're going to think of outside of maybe close range combat where it's going to be used, and it makes sense. I mean, obviously it makes sense. It's true. It's not going to be exactly a item that you're going to kind of go, hey, look, it's a thermal grenade. I'm going to use it, or I'm going to take it. It's going to be a great weapon to use. And yeah, that's true. It's not a great weapon to use at all. I mean, let's face it. 9 out of 10 times you're probably going to find that the thermal grenade pretty much is terrible, and unless you're in like a close range situation or some situation that requires you to basically say, okay, I have to use this. I have to, I'm in a tight spot. I've got to use this. It doesn't matter what happens. I've just got to use it to hope to survive. And, maybe that's the case for many people, is that, they're not going to use a weapon unless it's absolutely for survival. But, I mean, put it into this perspective when you're thinking about your guns and whatnot. Thermal grenades, or any grenade in general, it can and will most likely help you. In general, while it may seem like, oh, okay, it's just worthless, I'm not going to use it, it's actually probably going to, in general, help you overall with, just like fighting. I mean, overall fighting is the key to winning some battles or winning fights is, of course, to make sure that you have you have something that's on your side, an edge, if you will. In some cases, an edge, if you will. And this edge can come from anything. It can come from something as simple as like a grenade. Something as simple as like a RE45. Something as simple as a Mozambique. I mean, let's face it, I think one of these battles, if it's not in the recording, I've had times where the Mozambique just basically saved me because of the fact that I was able to find it, and I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm going to pick it up. I don't care if I'm going to win or lose. I'm just going to pick it up to help my survival. And that's exactly it. It's just for survival. It's the turning point. Remember, you can always find the weapons you prefer over time. You can always find the things that make your battle the turning point, the turning tide. it's just a matter of, like, sometimes you're just not going to get there immediately. Sometimes you're just not going to find it immediately. And unless you're, like, for instance, dropping in the hot zone, being in that fight all the time, you're not going to always find your preferred weapons. You might as well kind of go in with a thought of, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to find this weapon, and then I'm going to hope for the best, that I'm going to be able to survive long enough to gather what weapons I want, That's the in general opinion of mine, is that, if you want to win in the long run, you want to get good luck, you want to have things happen for you in a point of view that really is just like, this person might be a pro, then you just gotta kind of go, forget about your standard, forget about your double standard or whatever it is, just pick up whatever you can, do whatever you can to win the game. In general, that's the opinion of my own. And it's like, know your competition. As Dr. Disrespect says, know your competition. Know what your competition is doing. Know what your competition is thinking. It may not be exactly what you want to do, but again, it's a fight of everyone is looking for weapons. Everyone is looking for things to just help them survive. And weapons like, for instance, the Havoc. Terrible weapon. But, the one reason the Havoc is there is just so that you can survive. It's not going to exactly be the be-all, end-all of weapons. It's not going to be something that you're going to use every day just to survive. I mean, let's face it. But, overall, it can help you, and it can be the saving grace of your team, potentially. Potentially, it can be your saving grace. It can be the thing that saves your team and makes everyone cheer for you. I mean, let's face it. Sometimes that's exactly what it does. It's a way for your team to actually cheer for you and kind of go like, hey, this guy, this person, this girl, this guy is not that bad. They are pretty good. They know exactly what they're doing. And here, it's like, this is a point of view where, like, you'll see in this part of the video where I'm basically kind of like, I'm like watching this guy. He's trying to play hero. Let's just face it. This guy's basically trying to play hero. What I do is I eventually pull out my mic and I try to tell this guy, don't be a hero. Run. Pull yourself out. Get yourself out of the thing. There's no room for heroes. And, I mean, let's face it. It's kind of true. There is no room for heroes in this game. If you're going to try to be a hero in this game, you might as well consider yourself to be pretty much done for. And it's one of the reasons why you'll see me at some point in this video rage quit, basically because this guy ain't going to be listening to me. You don't win by being a hero. You win by playing smart. Not by playing like a hero. In this case, this guy's just basically trying to play like a hero. He's trying to be that one guy who will be like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill all these people, I'm going to revive my team, and then I'm going to save everybody, and I'm going to be praised as a hero. That's not how you be a hero. Sometimes there's difference between being a hero and being smart. And you'll see here that right there, I basically just rage quit because I'm like, I'm not even going to deal with that because let's face it, it's not something I'm going to be dancing with. It's something I'm just going to say, nope, not for me, So, I mean, in general, that's just exactly the point of view of the situation is that, obviously, there are times where it's good to have a base, a thing where it's like, you can and I do apologize if there was some background noise. I usually try to make sure that my editing stays pretty relatively quiet to where you can hear my voice, but sometimes it just happens. I'm not exactly in a studio or something, so it's hard to really make it to where I can really make perfect, video or audio quality. But, that's just it, When it comes down to it, you want to make sure that, that for the most part, you're just coming in with a game plan. I mean, don't be like me and form a bad habit of like, well, I picked up a grenade. I'm never going to use it. You know, don't form that bad habit. In Battle Royales, that's kind of a bad habit of mine. And I do apologize that, you know, many people who may see me, who may play with me, it's kind of like you may see me have a bit of a bad habit of not using my grenades. Even though I pick them up, I don't use my grenades. Why is that? Because, I mean, let's face it, for the most part, I don't realize the competition. And, you know, and sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm going to basically kind of fail at using my grenades. But, you know, with that being said, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, like I've said before, I feel that, you know, honestly, there are times where, you know, where it could be, you know, just something that is useful, you know. It's something that could be played out in many ways. And, you know, with that being said, that's just exactly what it is. I do apologize for the sound again. If there is any background noise or anything in the background, I try to make sure that it stays quiet when I record. But like I said, I'm hearing a lot of background noise, and usually when I'm hearing a lot of background noise, that means the mic's probably picking it up. So hopefully it's not picking it up. But I know that background noise will happen because, again, you know, without your help, I'm not going to be in a studio anytime soon. It's going to be very, very hard for me to really just create studio quality videos, studio quality things. And that's even something that I found with most of my edits sometimes is that I pick up a little bit of background noise, especially when I'm live streaming. And with that being said, I mean, that's pretty much just going to be it for today's video. You know, and by the way, with that being said, I mean, please do consider supporting the channel and following my YouTube or my Twitch. I mean, you know, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and call the video here. And I am live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Accureye. I'm live on of course, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure for about 4 to 5 hours. Usually I'm live. I've been lately also live on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and potentially Sunday. Monday and Tuesday will always be about a 2 or 3 hour stream. Usually Wednesday and Thursday are a 4 to 5 hour stream. And Saturday, of course, is a 4 to 5 hour stream. Sunday will always be a bonus stream. But with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. And yeah, until the next one, everybody. This is Accureye signing out and saying farewell, everyone.